How's it going, everyone? So, the Packers in the third round made their first selection in Tucker Kraft, tight end out of South Dakota State, and dude's athletic. So, when this pick came up, I actually thought we might get Darnell Washington, especially not getting him in the second. I thought we would double dip at the tight end position, and I really thought it'd be Darnell Washington, especially since, well, Musgrave is more of the passing type tight end, and, well, Darnell Washington is the running type of tight end. And I figured we would be kind of focusing on running or run blocking tight ends a little bit more than we actually have. But then they made the selection of Tucker Kraft, and I was like, all right, well, that's a tight end. I expected a tight end to be picked. Packers like to go back to back or at least double dip a little bit. And like in their first 3 rounds, they like to pick 2 players of the same position of need. Could have been edge rusher, but they went tight end, and it makes a lot of sense, especially once you start looking who Tucker Kraft is. So he is a 6'5", 254-pound tight end. He is a big boy. He ran a 4.69 40-yard dash and a 1.6 10-yard split and ended up with a 9.68 RAS score. So this player right here, big body, very fast, high RAS score, ticking all the boxes despite the wide receiver we picked. Ticking all the boxes that the Packers tend to like. And when you kind of look at his stats, you look at his 2022 season, he only had 27 receptions for 348 yards and 3 touchdowns. Nothing great. Then the year before, you see he had 65 receptions for 770 yards and 6 touchdowns. And that raised a flag for me. I'm like, all right, what happened last year? Why did you drop so far? And this is probably why he dropped to the third round, but what made him drop so far last year? So apparently last year in the 2022 season, he was plagued with an ankle injury. Ankle injuries, they linger, that you can't really do much, especially if you're like a receiver or a running back. Most players in general, if you have an ankle injury that's hampering you, it's going to make you a bit ineffective, and apparently it's shown in his stat line. But when you look at his tape, dude's quick and he is smooth. And add to that, he's very explosive. So for the Packers and what he is as a tight end, he's pretty versatile. He's had some slot snaps, as you can see in 2021. He played in line for 209 snaps and in the slot had 113 snaps. Then in 2022 had 95 snaps in line, then 51 snaps in the slot. So he's versatile in that sense. And he's also a player that can kind of like line up wide if you need be for a weird scheme, whatever the play design is. He can line up wide. He's got some of that ability to do that. So he's very versatile, and it's once again kind of the trend with this draft, especially on offense. We've gotten some speed and some versatile players that aren't just one-trick ponies where, like I said in previous videos, with Robert Tonyan, he's probably pass catching. Big Dog Lewis, he's probably run blocking. There's some versatility with these picks and some speed, and it's very great to see that. And to add to that, when I was talking about Darnell Washington, how I figured we'd go for him because he's a run blocking tight end, this dude can run block. He's very physical. He's what they called a suffocating run blocker. Like, he is on you. He is a very willing and very powerful run blocker, and he gets in there. And sometimes when he's run blocking, though, where he'll have to get coached on this and develop a little bit, is his pad level. He plays a little too high when he blocks, and he just needs to get better leverage at times. But he's still a very good run blocker. So they're getting a tight end that not only can catch the ball, but it can run block and has pretty good yards after he catch. Like what I said, he's a smooth runner. And now, despite him being a smooth runner, he will have to work on his route running ability. When I watched him run routes, he looked a little kind of stiff or clunky, and he'll have to sharpen that up. Despite how smooth he is running the ball, the route running part, it's a little clunky. I know that sounds a little like contradictory, but when you watch him, it's more understanding of what I mean by that. So he's going to have to work on his route running ability and get a little bit more crisper on the route running. And also, he's going to have to develop how to track the ball a little bit better. He's had some problems tracking the ball and maybe jumping a little too early, so he'll have to get better at that. But otherwise, he has good hands. Didn't really have a drop problem. Really only had 2 drops last season, despite an ankle injury, which can affect your catching because when you make a cut or you jump off, your mind goes towards your ankle, especially if it hurts like hell. So he only had 2 drops last season, so he doesn't have a drop problem. And this could be an all-around tight end. And in a couple years, once again, just looking towards the future, this is, I don't want to call it a throwaway year, but this is let's call it a development year. We're getting developmental players with high ceilings and high potential. And in a couple years, could be amazing for us. So this is another tight end to where we're going to Matt LaFleur, who probably loves running 2 tight end sets, and are getting 2 versatile tight ends, and him and Musgrave, who can pass catch. Musgrave's going to have to learn how to run block a little bit, but in the meantime, you have Tucker Kraft, who is a pretty decent run blocker. So all the pieces are kind of coming together, and it's pretty exciting. God, I can't believe I'm getting excited in Jordan Love era with draft picks, and I'm probably getting too ahead of myself. But it's exciting to see it all kind of come together. Like, there's an obvious goal to where we are with the offense. Yes, we're getting Jordan Love weapons, and I said in the previous video, we want speed on this offense, but we're also getting versatility. And that's always been a thing about Matt LaFleur's offense, that he kind of always hampered in saying, like, he wants everything to look like one thing. Like, everything looks the same till the end. And he gives some deceptiveness to the offense because you don't know what they're running. And having versatile players adds to that deceptiveness. Because at least when everything looks the same, you can kind of count some players that are like, he's probably not going to get the ball, so I don't have to focus too much on that. But now it's like, all right, so these 2 tight ends can catch, so I actually have to worry about both of them. Then that receiver can do this, and it adds a lot to the offense. And I'm pretty excited about it. But let me know what you think down in the comments. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and as always, go Pack Go.